Hello and thank you for joining the Monday edition of Journalists Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. The race to stop the deadly coronavirus pandemic ravaging the world is far from over. So, make your own contribution to fight by staying at home and maintaining the social distancing. Now, today on the program, residents of Lagos, Ogun, groan over attacks by hoodlums as coronavirus lockdown enters day 14. And later on the show, Chad's defense minister speaks exclusively to TVC Journalists Hangout on war against Boko Haram, says Nigeria and other member countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission must work together to guarantee victory. I'll be hanging out with Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju and Asuquo James. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Before joining us, the sad thing about calamity is that most times it begets more chaos. As the lockdown order in Lagos, Abuja and Ogun states to contain the COVID-19 enters day 14, it is breeding more troubles in some areas. Hoodlums in border communities between Lagos and Ogun states are taking advantage of the sit-at-home order to cause mayhem. They have resorted to attacking residents in their homes, stealing their belongings. But many of the troubled residents have also constituted themselves into vigilance groups to ward off further attacks. Let's share some of the audios with you.
We are no more safe in Agegeo, please. Agegeo Kekoto. Agubiade from Pen Cinema. We beg you, and your wallet, please come and help us. Or Meji, we've called the police for the past 1 hour. They said they are on their way. We are not hearing any siren. Nobody is showing up. What kind of country is this? You people are isolating us. You are not doing anything. That's why I'm doing these live videos. We are paying our tax, and how much more you are not helping us? Our life is almost secured. People are hungry. These boys, they've entered. They are over 100 of them. Please come and help us. We beg you. They came in mass. We are begging you. They've been attacking for the past 1 hour. Please share. Let it get to the police. I beg you in the name of God.
Thank you for joining us. Babajide, I got this video yesterday night. Kenny Akinrimade tagged me in this video on Facebook. And by our news for 1 p.m. today, we interviewed the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, who is a constituent, who is from that constituency. And he said the noise about Agege is actually a false alarm, that nothing like that, nothing untoward. Quoting him, he said from 2 a.m. in the morning, he was out there till 5 a.m., that all the noise you are hearing about Agege is actually, like a false alarm.
I don't want to talk about, because I'm not resident there, so I don't want to talk about what I didn't see. He may be saying the truth, he may not be saying the truth. God is always the best judge in matters like this. But I know that in other areas, this thing happened. It's not only Agege that these boys invaded. Yanokpaja, Agbado, different places. Even
the boundary
even
communities.
In Akute.
Sango, Ifo.
Even in Akute, Sango, Ota, all of these places. So, an arrest have been made. It's not as if this thing is not happening. It may not have happened in the speaker's area. it's possible that it didn't happen in this area. So I won't say outright that it's lying. But this has happened here in Lagos. It has happened in Ogun State, where I reside. People have been apprehended. The police have made arrests. We can see pictures of bloodied boys who are apprehended and severely beaten, given the beating of their life. So nobody can deny that hoodlums went round.
Paraded close to 150.
You can say your area, it did not happen. Fine. But it is happening. And even today I can tell you that when the alarm was raised in the Akute area where I stay, landlords came out and they kept vigil. On Fashake Street, for example, one of the most densely populated streets in Akute, even women joined to erect barricades. Because these boys like communities that they can just, or areas where they can just stroll unhindered into. They don't like high walls, they don't like gates, communities with gates and all that. They want unfettered access. So, and in the areas where the poor people live, for example, you know that gates, not all houses will have gates and all that. So those are the places that they like to invade. For example, they went to pipeline area in Akute. Nobody can deny that. Nobody would deny that.
Poor people terrorizing poor people.
Yes, because that's what happens. How many times do you hear high-profile robberies in the areas where the rich people in our community, in our country resided? You don't. If you check crime rate is always high in areas dominated by the Lazarus stratum of society, by the poor people. Crime rate will not be high in Asuquo, for example. It won't be high in Maitama. When you compare it to what you have in Nyanya and other satellite towns of Akute, of Abuja, you see that the difference is like night and day. Yes. So this is it. It is the poor people who also rob themselves. They don't have the liver to go to
heavily guarded
areas where they are not sure that the man that they want to rob does not have an AK-47 or pump action that can blow up their head.
Asuquo, how did we get here? Yes, it's under the guise that I've seen several other people saying that it's because of the lockdown and it's because of the hunger in the land. My argument is that if you don't have that tendency to be to join a robber, to join bank gang, or this thing, there's people that are hungry that are in their houses right now. That will be the list of their options. Is this enough justification because there's hunger in the land, and there's lockdown?
I think this thing actually starts from the secondary school, because I still remember I went to a public secondary school. I remember then when we are almost, going out, closing time, closing time, you just hear, one school is coming, they want to come and fight you, and then from there, they are fighting another school, SS3 and SS3. That is how it starts. From there, it graduates. They want to now pass out. It becomes another issue. Oh, this person actually dealt with this, or we need to deal with him. And I have witnessed a lot in that at secondary school level, the kind of cutlass that they brandish, you'll be shocked. So it starts from the secondary school, the public secondary school. I know most of our parents who have children in public, they will attest to this. And some of these guys that you are seeing, they are from ages 15 to maybe 19. And most of them are dropouts. They can't pass JAMB. They have no future to them. And I also want to put this too. Another problem that also another problem is the kind of music that they listen to. These popular artists that we have, some of them will be singing songs that won't edify them or give them hope. The only thing they want to do is how they will cause violence everywhere that they are going to. So this starts from the secondary school, and then the parents are also helpless. Because most of, I was talking to a couple of them, especially my security guard. Because yesterday when I got home late, I saw them burning tires. So many people now, they don't even sleep now. I had to wait at least to give him moral support too, so that it won't look as if I'm a very wicked neighbor, you know. And I engaged him. He said some of these people, they don't even have parents. And even some of them, they were already making money from crimes for their parents. They are making money for their parents. As in crime, you go there, you pickpocket. If you notice, you will not hear that they are actually stealing cars. But what they are stealing is maybe food, they are getting money and looting things that they can easily sell. You know, so it is not something that started today. It is just a time bomb that is waiting to happen. There are so many youth out there. I'm talking about 15 to 19. I'm not saying 20, 25 to 30. These are young boys who have energy. They are into drugs. They are into so many criminalities that we can't even hold on to. And the police, they will overwhelm the police. The only thing the police will do, I hope the NGOs are ready now. And the civil society groups, I hope they are ready. Because by the time the police will start their own, you'll start hearing that the police have started killing. And it becomes another big issue.
That's why,
You know,
some people will...
So now I think the civil society groups are the ones that are supposed to help us now. Whether they will now go to Agege, they will go to Agbado, they will go to Ijaye, go to Ogba, because yesterday to Ogba too, the whole of College Road, they were not sleeping. You understand? So people were not sleeping. So they have to go there and sensitize people.
Hungry and people still
People
can't
are
eat.
still,
The
yeah.
tension will grow.
Now, they come in the name of 1 million boys. Awawa. Some
Yes, those are Awawas in Agege. That's
despicable
that's their
names.
base.
Very, very stupid, despicable names. But the bottom line is that they move in hundreds.
Yeah, you see.
And they are very young men.
You see.
It shows you the kind of time bomb we are seated on
It is.
in the country.
You have Almajiri in the north. You have these boys in Lagos. The truth is, there are so many boys out there who live for the day. And when you live for the day, this is not the kind of situation that you want to face. Many of these boys go to rob in communities far from where they reside. The boy who was apprehended in Pipeline in Akute said he came all the way from Oshodi. So the question to ask is, how did he get here? Some buses are still moving. We are allowing, security people are allowing buses to move. Still carrying people. And even in carrying people, they are not adhering to social distancing. So how did a boy leave Oshodi and came all the way to Akute to come and rob people? Some of them are raping people. So if the kind of hunger that you have must be different. If it is real hunger, you won't even find the energy to rape.
Abi?
I'm telling you that if you are really you get so hungry sometimes that even your whole body will be shaking. Are you then in position to rape? When you are your body is shaking because you are extremely hungry. So the kind of hunger that they have, that they are talking about, is different. These ones, they have made up their minds to embark on criminality.
Yes, of perdition.
So that is why they are doing what they are doing. Because the hunger lockdown should not encourage you to go and rape women in the name of hunger, that you are hungry. We are all in it together.
And they are saying people
And
cannot,
you see, the thing is, you
they are
see
hungry
today,
at home, so they have to take to the streets
I
to
felt-
go and rob.
let me
How?
Today, when I was, I joined people in distributing food
Relief
packs,
pack,
food packs that Jamil M. Abubakar, son of our former
Inspector
General,
General,
donated. I saw hungry people at close quarters. Hungry people, pregnant women who had not eaten.
Pregnant women.
Pregnant women. Around 1 o'clock, some of them had not eaten anything.
Breakfasts.
So these are the real hungry people. And then you tell yourself, how do you try to solve this problem? How do you try to help? Do you defy social distancing? Because it is impossible to give people food to people in public places and be able to maintain social distancing. Even if you bring soldiers, they will lose control. And what you don't want to see is soldiers flogging people who are already tired, who are weak out of hunger. You don't want to see that. At the end of the day, the good that you want to do will be overshadowed by the reckless flogging by soldiers. Because some people are saying, oh, Jide, you should have taken soldiers to the place. Now, when these things happen, you hear all sorts from Nigerians. How do you deal with that situation? You want to defeat coronavirus. You also want to defeat hunger. Someone said that, look, it is impossible for the two to meet.
Defeating coronavirus that is out there, and you are home.
You also want to defeat hunger by giving food.
How do you want to do it?
How do you want to do it? We tried house to house. By the third house, we were surrounded. People are hungry. This is a fact. Once they start the vehicle that you are even bringing, you see the number of people running after you. From that point, you have lost social distancing.
If you're a citizen of the United States of America, by today, Monday, you're going to be getting your check of $1,200, depending on how big your family and everything. And people at home, they're still under lockdown. But some people are asking me, what's the provision that government has made for Nigerians? And I don't know what to say. Asuquo.
Ayo, that one is like, you are giving me an exam. Because look, the so-called stimulus package that's been going around and the so-called 20,000 that they've been sharing has not gotten to this set of people that are causing this problem. And we have politicians, we have community leaders who might have even gotten this stimulus package.
Who use them as stunts.
During election, you know. And this is the time those ones are supposed to come out and say, okay, fine. I know you don't have any, there's no food though, come and take this one, you know, for you to manage. Because this set of people are, because they are dropouts and they believe that they can't go back to school. These are the ones that you see when market is open, they will do agbero.
We collect
you know,
parking.
These are the ones that when Okada riders are parking somewhere, they will collect maybe 10, 100 naira or 50 naira, you know, and they will deliver to somebody. So they are the ones that are living and surviving on day job.
Okay, but Babajide, on a final note on this particular topic, Mr. President will be addressing the nation sometime today. And if Mr. President is addressing the nation, Nigerians are waiting for something. They want him. We, from our projection, this lockdown might be extended from all indication from our projection, but we don't know when and how. But what we are saying, Nigerians are expecting palliative from Mr. President.
Well, I was reading that France, yes, France, promises made. Up to now, those ones, they are locked down. Completely. Longer than our own. But people have run out of savings. The same thing, Italy. People have run out of savings. The money that was promised has still not reached them. So we are all in this. It's not Nigeria alone. There is no country that has the capacity to feed all its poor at this
200
time.
million people.
Look at India, for example, a third world country like us. Some of the worst slums in the world are in India. Some of the worst slums, so you know that it's a third world country. India, what has India given its people? Because we can complain about all of this, but the issue is it is sacrifice. We must realize that it is sacrifice. Some people don't want to hear
And
it.
to stay alive.
To stay alive,
ultimately,
is better. To stay alive is better.
There's always hope.
When you have life, you have hope.
Yes.
Those in the mosques don't have an objective again.
No, but once you die, you are gone.
Kenny Rogers sang a song. He said, life is good, love is better. In my own view, life is better. Not even love. Life. Because you have life first before thinking even about love.
All right. Moving on now, on Sunday, this 22nd of March, Boko Haram fighters inflicted a deadly blow on Chadian troops in Boma area of Chad, killing 92 soldiers. The Chadian army responded with unrelenting volume of violence. It was a big invasion of the Boko Haram's bases in Chad, Niger, and Nigeria. Just before we go into the interview with the defense minister, let us take a look at Chad's array of tanks and armored fighting vehicles deployed in that game-changing battle against Boko Haram.
Chadian soldiers, Chadian, they all go catch Boko Haram hand to hand. See them tank for Chadian, this one I will just go tank. This one a Chadian tank.
Just for that operation, Babajide, we saw the combination of the effort from armor, artillery, infantry, everything coming together. All the armada of, violence for the Nigerian army coming to our Chadian troops for them to deploy this for just that operation. See if the whole country is going to work.
It shows you the importance they attach to that operation, and their president directly led the operation. Their president is a master of outflanking the enemy. In 1987, Idris Deby defeated Gaddafi's forces.
Gaddafi's forces?
Yes. He defeated, as commander of the Chadian army, he defeated Gaddafi's forces. He outflanked Gaddafi's forces, and that was the time that the world's attention went to the man called Idris Deby before he took over 3 years later. So when you see the kind of weapons that they deployed for this battle, you will know that Boko Haram does not stand a chance. Because even the best weapons that Boko Haram uses, which is the AA, they also use it. And they've mastered, yes, they have mastered the art of using it. Though by Geneva Convention, they are not supposed to use it on human beings. But they have mastered it. They are masters of asymmetric warfare. So they've used it. Oh, you want to use gun trucks? We can use it. You want to use AA? We will use it against you. So they completely destroyed.
Use APC. Their own APC is unique.
Yes, the gun truck, you see, the gun truck that they are using looks like a mini armored car.
Yes, that's small one. Yeah.
Yes. So these are
Smallish.
supplied by France and some European countries and Russia as well. So they were ready for that battle, and he wanted to prove a point with that battle. And he wanted to chase them away from the whole of the Lake Chad area, and he succeeded. And that battle took them to different countries. They didn't just fight in Chad. They went into Niger Republic, they went into Nigerian territory and chased away Boko Haram from all the bases that they had in the area.
Actually, this particular outing actually changed the narrative after they lost 92 soldiers, and this outing wiped just Boko Haram away from the Lake Chad, their stronghold. The way Jide has been describing the stronghold of Boko Haram in Lake Chad in the last 1.5 years, I had that impression that it was almost impossible for Boko Haram, that's the Abawa faction, to be dislodged from the Lake Chad Basin.
Exactly.
But they did it.
Exactly. Well, they did it in 11 days. They came all out, and it was like a true commander-in-chief going to war, making sure that everybody that should be on the field should be on the field, and every material that should be on the field should be there.
Deploying everything.
Everything.
And say we are going to stay here.
And we are going to
Stay
teach
here.
these
We are
guys
waiting
a
for
lesson.
Nigerian counterparts.
And they really taught them a lesson.
They taught them a lesson.
That even Shekau begin, you can see he
Became
was even
sober.
begging.
They
He
said,
was
leave us
begging,
alone.
leave us alone. That is not even that you know Quran. He was even trying to quote Quran. You
They
know?
should leave you
So
alone.
this is
And
what you are
didn't leave
saying.
them alone. You
This
kill
is
your
what- killing
92
people.
soldiers.
Yes, exactly. So this is what we are saying. So it means that if they come together, they can finish this war once and for all.
We are
Coming together
decisive,
to finish
determined.
the war. All right, we'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalists Hangout. Please don't go away. Stay with us. Multi-award winning program, Journalist Hangout. We are reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. Nothing but total victory over an enemy can guarantee lasting peace. In a bid to ensure complete rout of Boko Haram insurgency in the Lake Chad area, Chad Defense Minister Mohammed Saleh has called for more cooperation among member countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission to end the insurgency. In an exclusive interview with Journalist Hangout, Saleh said Nigeria and other countries in the region must work together to guarantee victory. We'll bring to you the interview.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Defense, Chad Republic, for joining us on the program. Now, let's start by looking at Nigeria's relationship with Chad Republic vis-a-vis the war against terrorism. I understand that you have just come from the front line. Tell us exactly what is happening there.
Merci beaucoup. Avant tout, je profite de l'occasion de votre micro pour remercier votre chaîne.
Thank you very much.
Qui est à la
I wish,
disposition
first of all,
de l'Afrique.
to seize this opportunity to thank your TV channel, which is at the disposal of Africa. I watch your TV channel even in Chad, and it is a channel that highlights our actions and enables them to be seen by our people. It is true that Nigeria and Chad are two sister countries bound by history and geography. With this challenge of fighting terrorism, we have a common goal with Nigeria. In this fight, we have our structure, which is the Multinational Joint Task Force, MJTF. Nigeria has always supported and shown readiness to support us. We also have bilateral relations between Nigeria and Chad. You have mentioned ongoing operations, and truly we have ongoing operations in Chad and also in Nigeria. These operations are one way or the other coordinated by the two heads of state, President Debi Itno of Chad and President Buhari of Nigeria. As Minister of Defense, it is important for us to come here and check and review the situation. In this fight, there is no sole winner. There is no sole country that wins or is a victim. We are together in this fight, because Boko Haram has no limit or border.
Il n'y a pas aussi un seul pays qui peut être victorieux ou
And we also, participating countries of the MJTF, should have no limits. So we have discussed, and there are actually no formal agreements with my Nigerian counterpart. But challenges on our side have been mentioned. There is also the issue of planning. And as you know today, the Chadian troops are inside the Nigerian territory at Madaye and other isles. There is therefore need to plan together so that achievements against Boko Haram in localities and positions taken are kept. Both countries must think together on how to maintain these achievements. That is how we can overcome Boko Haram. The sex should not be given time. We should not abandon areas that have been retaken from Boko Haram.
Tell us about the agreement that you signed with the Nigerian Minister of Defense.
No, we have not signed any agreement. As I said before, we have bilateral meetings between Chad and Nigeria on the issues to be discussed, strategic and logistic issues, and how we can combine our efforts. We also had a meeting with the MJTF so that actions from all countries lead to the same goal and result. It is important to note that in this fight there is no country that can be sole winner. If we win, it is a common victory for all LCBC member countries, and if we lose together.
Now let's look at the multinational joint task force. The headquarters is in your capital, N'Djamena, and Nigeria is contributing heavily in terms of resources and financing for the operations, as well as your country and other participating countries. Now let's look at what is your country doing to sustain this.
I just said that during our meeting with the Nigerian Minister of Defense, representatives of the MJTVF were also there. The issue of funding was discussed, and it results today that the MJTF has not been funded for the past 6 months. It has an impact on its operations. It is important for the troops to be adequately equipped and given all the means for ongoing operations to be successful.
Let's look at the current operation that your country is prosecuting, the wrath of Burma. Tell us exactly why you began this operation.
It has been mentioned in the beginning. You know that our forces at Burma have been attacked, and we lost about 100 troops. Sequel to this attack, the president of Chad, Debi Udno, personally visited the site and decided not to go back. The decision to launch an operation was taken. This operation, codenamed Anger of Burma, was launched with the involvement of about 9,000 troops. The operation was launched over land, by air, by farm ground, from Niger to the Isles of Lake Chad and the Chadian and Nigerian borders. After 11 days of operations personally coordinated by President Debi Udno, Boko Haram bases in Niger, Gajira bases, have been liberated. Madaye, based in Nigeria, has also been liberated. We must also say that troops from Niger, Nigeria and Chad under the MJTF have also given their contribution. People throughout the world are amazed by the success of the operation, but we are not amazed because as soldiers we are trained for that. That is our work. In all the tough operations in eastern or northern Chad, our president has always been with us, and sometimes in the forefront. We believe that it is a common victory for all the countries, and we are considering with all sister countries how to maintain these achievements and strengthen the situation on ground so that Boko Haram is not allowed to retake these isles. Nigeria has ongoing operations all the time. As we speak, Nigeria has operations against Boko Haram in the isles of the Lake Chad. Anger of Burma operations started in Chad. but it is true that operations with the same goal are taking place on the Nigerian side.
Concernés et on est en train de réfléchir ensemble avec les pays frères, d'amis, pour que ces acquis doivent être maintenus.
How would you assess the participation of Nigerian troops from the Nigerian territory in ensuring that the enemies of Nigeria and the enemies of Chad are made to face the law?
Oui, mais il faut ressortir, il faut vraiment reconnaître que le Nigeria a des opérations en cours à tout moment.
President Idris Deby Itno is sharing information with President Muhammadu Buhari, and the same thing goes on with the defense and security forces. Saying that Chad is fighting alone or that Nigeria is not in the war is not true. Nigeria is always by our side in this war. There cannot be any success against Boko Haram without Nigeria. Whether in Nigeria, in Niger, or in Chad, victory against Boko Haram is always a shared victory. That is why we are working with our colleagues. Air operations were carried out by Nigeria. I understand your question. I have read some press publications in Nigeria. It may be an issue of language. You speak English and we speak French. But our operations are common and the victory is a shared victory. We have a common destiny in the fight against Boko Haram.
Il a soutenu aussi la force multinationale, comme vous l'avez dit. Ça a été toujours soutenu par le Nigeria. Il n'y a pas une réussite de Boko Haram sans Nigeria.
The last one for me would be, now that all the countries in multinational joint task force have, reinvigorated their efforts, particularly Chad, how soon does your country see victory in this war against Boko Haram?
This is a difficult question. What is important is that we have victory every day that God has made. As we had victory yesterday, so must we have victory tomorrow and go from victory to victory. Each time we have victory, it is defeat for the other side, and that is how Boko Haram will be eradicated. It is the goal of the MJTF as well as other participating countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission. It is possible, but it is risky to state a date. Each time we record a victory, we are moving towards that goal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Defense, Chad Republic, for joining us on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Our defense correspondent there, Sifon Esen, taking up the Minister of Defense of Chad, that Muhammad Saleh. He said, we are not amazed because we are trained for it. It wasn't a big deal going to the Lake Chad region, dislodging the well-funded Abanawi faction of Boko Haram, dislodging them, bringing Boko Haram. According to what Jide said, Jide is saying that they've retreated to, what's Yobe?
Bali, and then now they are in Sambisa now.
Now in Sambisa.
They've gone through, they passed through Damboa, they are now inside Sambisa.
So it's now left for our own soldiers to repel them, or what is left, the remnant of Boko Haram, because Idris Deby is claiming that 90% of the work has been done by soldiers.
I agree absolutely with him. The most difficult part of the job has been done by Chad, and I say this with a high sense of responsibility. The Shekau faction is weak. They lack the capacity to take on soldiers. All they do is just attack communities and steal people's food. The dangerous faction was the Albanawi faction, because that was the faction that ISIS recognized in August 2016 after they broke up, and they set up bases, 3 different bases in the Lake Chad area. It was difficult for us to dislodge them. Several hours of pounding by the Air Force. They remained dangerous. They continued to take on our troops. They continued to invade military bases, kill our troops, and steal their weapons.
And took some of our ships.
Yes, that was when they invaded Baga. It was the same group. The same group invaded Baga and took away the boats of the Nigerian Navy. till today, Nigerian Navy has not returned to Baga. I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. This is a fact. The most dangerous faction, the more dangerous faction has been destroyed.
That goes after military.
Now, yes, that
Super tank camps.
When last did you hear that they attacked a Nigerian army base? Their capacity has been degraded. Look at how many weapons were recovered from them, including the game-changing 40 barrel. The Chadian troops did a fantastic job. If you put 9,000 troops to battle,
9,000.
9,000.
11 days.
According to the defense minister, they deployed 9,000 soldiers against Boko Haram. You know, I always say that to defeat an insurgency, you must outnumber the enemy by a ratio 4-1. That is the standard recommendation by military strategists. So they knew the strength of these guys. They not only outnumbered them, they also brought overwhelming force to bear. And you saw
day and night for 11
yes,
days.
11 days. And we were pounding them in the air, and then the ground forces were also at work. That is their area. They're familiar with the area. All the boats, more than 50 boats that they were using to operate in that area were destroyed by Chadian troops. Now they had to run away, come back to Nigeria.
Boats Boko Haram used to operate.
Including those seized from the Nigerian Navy. When they invaded Baga in January 2019, they've been destroyed. So what is left for us is to complete the cleanup. The capacity is just like when the Americans invaded Iraq. They did it to destroy the capacity of Iraq to constitute a threat to its neighbors. So the capacity of Boko Haram to constitute a threat to our forces, they've been taken away. Look at all these weapons and others. That have been taken away. So now, what do we have? Last night in Auno, you know that same highway, Damaturu, Boko Haram went to Auno and killed 7 travelers. They took some prisoner. We don't want to hear this kind of things. It's painful to be hearing this kind of things. The same Boko Haram that they chased them away from Lake Chad area, they can't operate there anymore because the battle took place in 3 different countries. I've heard people say, oh, these Chadians, so they knew that the Boko Haram was inside their territory. Exactly. They didn't do anything for years. The battle was not inside Chad alone.
It was in Nigeria.
The bulk of it was even inside Nigeria. They also went to Niger Republic. Because Lake Chad...
I remember that video. Idris said, we're holding our ground here.
Yes, he said you stay here for a month.
We are waiting,
1 month.
Yes,
exactly.
They said it now. So they came inside our country to fight. Let's not give the impression that it was limited to Chad. No, they came here to give them a bloody nose. Now, we can't afford not to maintain the momentum. What is left now, these guys are not as strong as they used to be. Let us finish the battle once and for all. We don't want to be hearing that these guys are killing innocent civilians again. It's painful. BBC Hausa Service was reporting it. So, and they even interviewed one of the victims who managed to escape.
So, Asuquo, we can say technically, Boko Haram has been technically degraded at this junction after, routing them away from their territories.
Yeah, but they still killed some people, You can hear what the defense minister said. He said that it is a collaboration. And anything that is in collaboration means that the other party, which is Nigeria, must also play their part.
The rest of the job.
Yes. And if you notice, that is it. Have they started the mop-up exercise? That is what we should be asking now. Forget about, that Chad came to the Nigerian side to do, to degrade or to finish up the work that we are supposed to do many years back. That we are supposed to have ended the war. Now, what Nigeria should be asking should be, when will this war finally end? Because Chad has done 90% of the job for us.
And it's tied, Jide,
they've done 90%.
This is tied to time. If we allow the remnants to go and regroup
again, they are coming back and it's going to be full force.
That's what happened in
Sabisa Forest. Yes. When we hear from them for some time, they will hibernate, they'll recalibrate, and they'll come back.
That is, Idris Deby said that. He said these guys must not be given a chance. That they must be crushed once and for all because they will come back.
Yes.
He knows that even in his country, they are not safe. Once you give Boko Haram a breather, and their people send funds to them, they will
recruiting
in
Of course, they will start buying
2015
to the
weapons.
porous borders.
Yes,
and the first quarter of 2015, we chased Boko Haram out of all the in Adamawa. They were in control of 7 local governments. We chased them away. We had election. They were in control of 2 local governments in Yobe. We chased them away. We had election. They were in control of not less than 17 local governments in Borno State. We chased them away. We had election. But after a while, they came back. The Chadians who were on our soil, invariably we told them they could go. They left. Because they were the ones holding Borno North at that time.
There was no reason for them to stay. Now that you've killed
because
92 of their
it was
soldiers,
during election.
so they have all the motivation to deploy everything they had.
Yes. They said, we'll finish this, they will not remain in Lake Chad. And they have achieved that aim.
Now that Borate is in the north, or is in Borno, in Borno, it is now that we want him to finish up this job.
Yes.
We don't want any excuses.
Let him
he
not
doesn't
come
even
back.
come back to Abuja.
Let him not come back to
You know,
Abuja until the
Yes,
battle
because
is finished.
what we want him go all out for these guys, finish up this whole 10-year, because every day is like every budget year. Every budget year they keep pumping money to this insurgency, and it's becoming like some people are just trying to make money from it. So people out there, if you go to social media, they are not happy.
People are angry. They want this war to end.
Because we want it to end.
The momentum must be maintained.
Exactly. You know? So the Chadians have done the job. They've done 90%. Let us just do the 10% and stay there.
Actually,
when they finish Sambisa, we've not heard anything about it again.
You heard what he said.
Finally, in terms of intelligence,
yes,
we will need help so that we can make precision-guided attacks.
Let's make the right friends. The Chadians are making the right friends. The Israelis help them with intelligence mainly, not so much military hardware. They know where to get that, but intelligence they will give them. And you saw it. The president was looking at the map, pinpointing where these guys were.
Even telling Shekau that we know where you
we
are.
know where you are.
Dikwa. You know, when he said he knew he was in Dikwa, my mind went to the program that we did 2 weeks ago, where I said that Shekau is in the Chigrumui forest, and it's not far from that area. I was amazed. So it means he knows. It is true that he knows where he is. That's why Shekau is sober. He can't even do videos anymore. Yeah, exactly. It's only audio that he can do, and that audio he will be saying, "Look, leave us alone.
Yes,
now. Chad, leave us alone. It's not your fight."
So we are begging Nigerian army. We need this war to end, so that we can have respite.
The pirated man himself. Thank you so much for your contribution today.
Thanks so much.
We are still battling COVID-19. We're coming to work every day.
Yes.
Babajide, in spite of the stay-at-home order, we've been at, in the last 14 days. We're still running.
Yes.
And
That's what Nigerians ask of us.
Yes, you can assure you that we are going to be here, lockdown or no lockdown, to give you quality programming. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch Journalists Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalists Hangouts